Today I will be projecting Peace in the Snow by Fourth Realm. Art is up. Link will be in the comment section, as well as the additional tags. Mention of Wilbursit, I don't agree with any of the things he's been accused of. I think that's obvious. The summary is maybe he'll die here. Maybe he'll die here. He thinks it's a pretty peaceful way to die, if he does say so himself. And as he lays down on the snow, Tommy finds that he doesn't really mind if he does die here. There are 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is about 2,544 words. Notes, SBI brain rot go burr. I will post chapter 2 tomorrow. And without further ado, let's get started. Tommy shuddered as Dream left Gloucester. Dream was angry. Oh, he was so angry. Tommy doesn't know if Dream will come back. He hopes he doesn't. He had fucked up and lied to his friend. Were they really friends? Why had he hid items from Dream? To stock up? That was useless. He was exiled. To fight against Dream? Ha! That's laughable. Like, anyone could go against Dream. Nobody could. Except, well, Tommy didn't think about him much. Now, Tommy didn't hold a grudge. Not anymore. Not really. The more he thought about it, he had a point. Don't you see I'm gonna restart that. Don't you see history repeating itself? But L'Manberg was his home, and he couldn't abandon it, right? Was it still his home? Didn't L'Manberg abandon him? Well, anyway, Tommy's arms hurt, he realized, looking down at them. Oh, he got burnt from the explosion. Guess that explains why it hurt. He didn't really feel it when it happened. He didn't really feel things much anymore. Okay. Ew. That was emo and cringe. And that's a lie. He feels everything. His arms hurt. His wings were filthy. They screamed in pain, desperate for a preen. His hands kept shaking and his legs ached. Maybe he should just... No. Tommy heaved as he made it out of the pond, clutching his chest and coughing up any excess water that entered his lungs. He was wet and cold, and everything hurt. Dream was going to notice this. He was going to be angry with him. He was already angry with him. He couldn't stay here, but he couldn't leave. This was supposed to be his home, wasn't it? Was it? Wasn't it his exile, his punishment? And Dream might come back. He was Tommy's friend, his best friend even. Was he? Tommy's head hurt. He couldn't think properly. Everything was so contradicting. Tommy stood up slowly, and before he could even fight himself on it, he ran. To which direction, he doesn't know. His legs screamed as he ran through the achiness of them. He just wanted to get away from here, just for a little while, right? Just to clear his head. He was going to come back, just before Dream even notices. He wouldn't even realize that Tommy was gone to begin with. Yeah. It was cold. Freezing cold. Snow was everywhere. It was just below his feet, falling into his burns, prickling at his skin, making the hair on the back of his neck stand. He's somewhere in the tundra, Tommy realizes. Fuck. He's royally fucked. There were only 2 people in the SMP that he knows spearheaded the North as their territory. And, well, he's not really in good terms with either of them right now. But they would never hurt him, right? They have. They were his family. When has that ever mattered? He should really turn back. It's the smartest decision he's ever going to come up with, really. But he can't. He can't move. It was like he was frozen in place. Ha! Get it? Tundra. Frozen. And it's not like he doesn't want to run. He really does. But the snow looks awfully soft right now. And it probably is. It was always soft back at home in the quaint cabin in the... A little shit I never hurt anybody. It was fucking freezing, sure, but Tommy could see his vision gaining black spots. Huh. Guess he doesn't have a choice in the matter. When has he ever had a choice? Shut-eye it is. Maybe he'll die here. He thinks it's a pretty peaceful way to die, if he does say so himself. And as he lays down on the snow, Tommy finds that he doesn't really mind if he dies here. He closes his eyes. He's knocked out immediately. It's probably why he doesn't notice the footsteps that are approaching him. Tommy wakes up feeling warm. Weird. He clearly remembers falling asleep on the snow. Was he dead? Was this the afterlife? It was a nice thought. The afterlife felt soft and warm. It smelled like potato soup. And, hey, wait a minute. Potato soup? Look who's finally awake. Tommy's eyes snap wide open as he hears a gruff voice. He looks in the direction of said voice. Yup, he's screwed. Techno stands there all his glory, cape discarded, but crown still intact on top of his head, leaning on the doorframe with the bowl of potato soup in his hand. Is he awake? A voice from the other room says. Phil, Tommy figures. He's awake, all right. Tommy rolls his eyes as he approaches the bed. He was in a bed? Was this Techno's room? Why was he here? Were those bandages on his arm? Theseus. Tommy flinches. He's going to say that nobody has called him that in a while. Truthfully, Techno was the only one who ever called him that. Recently, though. He doesn't know why, but Dream started to take a liking to it, too. Whenever he did use it, it was never pleasant. Tommy? Tommy! Tommy snaps out of his thoughts, his wings ruffling a little. What? What? The younger glares at his older brother. Were they still brothers? Techno sighs. I said, do you want to eat? He says as he lifts the bowl of soup up. Tommy stares at the bowl for a bit. Did he want to eat? He hasn't really eaten in a little bit, but he doesn't know how much of an appetite he doesn't really have much of an appetite these days either. No thanks. His wings ruffle again, disgruntled. Techno stares at him deadpanned. He looked Tommy up and down like he was judging him. Tommy hates it. Yeah, no, you're eating, he declares. What? Why ask in the first place then, dickhead? Tommy yells. He rarely ever gets a choice. Because it was the polite thing to do, Techno huffs. Ew, since when have you ever cared about politeness? Tommy scrunches his nose in disgust at the piglin hybrid. Why does it feel so normal talking to him? Because, unlike you raccoon, I have actual manners. He waves his free hand around like it was a matter of fact. Fuck you, Blade. I have plenty of manners. He really didn't. That's why Dream was helping teach him, right? Footsteps echo as Phil enters his room, his wings tucked neatly. They really weren't behind him. He walks towards the bed, passing Techno as he does and sits down. How are you feeling, mate? Phil asks warmly. Tommy stares at both his father and his brother. Was he still allowed to call them that? It was weird, really. He hasn't seen these two since... well... Why was he even here, actually? Tommy was standing by his no grudges spill, but Phil did still kill Wilbur, so why is he even here? Because they want you here? He looks behind them, towards a small window near a bookcase. It was already dark. Oh shit. He really should go back to Rochester. Dream's going to be so angry. Poggers, Phil. Say, I really be going now. Oh, it's a bit late, and he starts to take a blanket, plural, off of him and tries to stand, emphasis on try. Phil yanks him down. Ow! Phil, what the fuck? Tommy squirms at the tight hold. He tries not to think about it too much. He looks at Phil properly. Oh. Phil was in burb mode. His pupils were dilated, and his wings, once neat, they were never neat, puffed up considerably. Tommy had caught by Phil like this many times when he was younger. Burb mode, he liked to call it. Listen, he was an avian too. He had his bird brain. Choop! But Phil could go haywire with his instincts. He used to not let any of them out of the nest during it. Tommy, most especially, being the youngest and smallest of the brothers. Where did the time go? Yeah, either way, he's screwed, and he really can't afford to stay here for long. Can he? He looks behind Phil, looking at Techno for help. Techno shrugs at him, lifting the bowl of soup again. Ugh, useless, the both of them. That's end notes. part 2, question mark, which there is a part 2. So, on a technicality, we do have a part 2. But this is, I'm still new to Podfix and all the fun. But if you have any recommendations for me to read, either it be Tommy Innit, Green 911, mainly book, he's my favorite, Spider-Man, Tom's version, please let me know, or any other fandoms. I am lovely to try, or I want to try a lot, and I want to fanfic a lot, especially ones that don't get podfic a lot, because I know I'm like, oh my god, I want to listen to somebody reading Grian, but I can't find anybody reading Grian fanfics, which understandable. A lot of them are ships, and I don't want to read ships. I love the ships, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to read it. I'm sorry. But any recommendations, please let me know. Thank you again to Fourth Realm for letting me read another one of your stories. Chapter 2 should be out tomorrow or sometimes next week. I do not have a schedule yet. If I do end up getting a schedule, I will let you know. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed.